Hello guys, my name is Amit Sani and I welcome you in this daily Hindu analysis video in the morning. These videos come in the evening, the MCQ lessons they come. 7th of November it is, and important issues, articles, daily we are discussing. Very important context they are telling to you, and these paid contents are available at 159 rupees per month only. Very important videos, these are by top faculties and totally affordable. These are only 159 rupees per month. Other courses are also available. You can call on these two numbers if you face any issue in the payment and the inquiry there regarding the courses. So everything is available. PDF you will get here on Telegram channel, which is given here on this Facebook group. You can send me request there on this Facebook group there. You can follow me on Instagram too. First issue, 25,000 crore rupees alternative investment fund will be created for the housing sector. You see, more than 1600 housing projects with 4.58 lakh crore units are stalled. So RERA was created, and now these things are progressing slowly, but many projects which are halted and many people are struggling with that. People from middle class, people from lower middle class, their hard earned money is stuck there. So it's very necessary that we give a boost there. So government is now gonna create this alternative investment fund of 25,000 crore rupees, and the proposal to create this fund in mid-September, which the cabinet has now approved. Under it, all affordable and middle class housing projects that are net worth positive and are registered with the RERA and that have not been deemed liquidation worthy will be eligible there. So that's the condition, means most of them will be getting the boost there, and 10,000 crore rupees will be given by the government there, and 15,000 will be given by SBI and LIC. And SBI cap is going to maintain that alternative investment fund. You see, these AIF, SEBI regulates them. SEBI released important regulations, AIF regulations, in 2012, and these are unique category of funds there which are not covered under the SEBI mutual fund regulation category. So these are important. Various categories are there, category 1, 2 and 3. So this housing sector AIF will be in category 2. So you do not need to go into these technical details, but just this much you know, that this will be a alternative investment fund regulated by SEBI. Okay, so two names are there, SEBI and SBI. Two, the contribution will be by SBI and LIC, and AIF will be regulated by SEBI because SEBI is the regulating body there. Next, center plans to regulate fee at medical colleges. You know, this is one of the huge menaces in the higher education sector in India, especially in the medical education. 1956 Indian Medical Council Act has no provision of regulation of fee there, and that's why it has become totally a elitist affair, and it has gone to the level of crores now. Means the medical education, the rich people, they are paying crores of rupees to get their kids becoming doctors, and this trend is rising. And the main issue is that in the future, if this trend will go on, then only rich kids will be becoming doctors and all the talent will be suppressed. And this is a well-known thing that most of the talent in the medical field throughout the world, that came from the poorest and the most vulnerable categories, the poorest students there. But now they cannot think about becoming doctors there because it is the issue of medical fee. And now many informations are there that these fees are rising for government colleges also. So many issues are there. Now government says that board of governors, which is there in place of MCI now, that is going to submit this important groundwork for regulating the fee to NMC, which is till date not in place there, and it will be set up very soon. So when it will be set up, NMC, then the BOG will be giving a report to NMC there. Board of Governors is vested with the powers of MCI right now. So that's the important information there. Okay. Next, PCI, Press Council of India. Press Council of India is a statutory educating organization in India, formed in 1966 by Parliament, operates under PCI. The Press Councils Act of 1978. It announces 2019 national awards Gulab Kothari, the chairman of Rajasthan Patrika Private Limited, he won Raja Raman Roy Award and a very respected journalist there. Other names are also given: Raj Chengappa, Sanjay Saini, and Shiv Swarup Avasthi. These people, they have got categories, awards, specific categories and respective awards there. So that's important. In journalism area, in the reporting area, the news channels, a lot is happening, and this particular fourth pillar of the democracy is actually struggling a lot. People are very rare who are honest, who are not running agendas, who are trying to save the democracy there, where most of them, especially these news media houses, the television news network houses, the private ones, they are controlled by maybe politicians or these business people. Okay, there was a report that one particular corporate house in India that is controlling a lot of numbers of media houses there. So, and their integrity and their dedication and their social service aspects, we all know about that, how much sincere these people are, just running for profits, for TRPs. So what truth we can expect there? And today they are totally committed, not asking any question to the government, running agendas, religious, security issues. Only two things are there on the on these news and prime time and debates and all. Every day these nonsensical cat dog fights we see, and destroying this country's culture, destroying this country's knowledge, awareness, destroying this country's youth, and creating a lot of anxiety and confusion there, because there is no help there. That's why this area is very, very crucial. UPSC will certainly ask you some questions there. Normally, traditionally, a retired Supreme Court judge is the council's chairman, press council chairman. Okay, so a very important topic for GS paper 2 and 3. Now we will come to the articles. Facts are less in number. Articles. Bishwajit Dhar. Important thing is that in this article, majorly the things he talked about, we have already talked about them, because some additional issues I discussed with you in the yesterday's lecture, and when we were explaining the RCP issue, when I told you a lot about the problem of competitiveness of Indian market, competitiveness of India's manufacturing MSME sector, and the agrarian crisis and the problems of capacity there. So those similar additional issues that I discussed yesterday, those are there in this article. The writer rightly puts here with the facts that this was a kind of an opportunity if we would have been like China today, but we are not. That's the unfortunate thing. We are not an exporting nation. We lack capacity. We lack the total focus, and the policies of the past, these are really troubling. And whatever we are doing today, that's surely not enough. Today it's a kind of a decline in the agricultural sector, and there should have been a big boost. We are running a lot of schemes, but structurally we are destroying the agrarian sector for sure. That's happening. You can see there are recent examples there. Nobody, no media house wants to discuss agrarian issues, but they heavily discuss this Delhi pollution issue, where all the blame was shifted towards the stubble burning there. So then only they discussed farmers. Otherwise, they do not know whether there are farmers or not in this country. That's the problem. So this is why intentional destruction is there. Instead of that, we need to manage the crisis first. Then we need to improve the area, and doubling income and all these things are okay. They are very fancy issues, but structural problems we need to address there. And then we will make dairy, agriculture, MSME very robust, and then they will become the exporting hubs. And then we will be able to join these kind of trade regionalism issues. Here the writer said that adverse implications were there of import liberalization for sure. We tried that in the past, and there was a lot of struggle with the farm communities and the domestic manufacturers there, and they heavily protested against that. So today, if we bring these tariffs to zero according to RCP, then it will be devastating for India's agriculture, dairy and MSME sector. You see, the government understood this preponderance of small and marginal farmers and their inability to face competition from global agribusiness, and has been this has been the primary reason why the government has always excluded agriculture from import liberalization. We have always excluded that because we cannot. We have to support our agriculture and we have to give subsidies to sugar industries and all. Otherwise, our grain crisis will be uncontrolled. Today it is uncontrolled for sure, but the situation would be far worse. Whatever bilateral free trade agreements we have, there is a huge deficit issue. Means we are net importing country and we are a hugely importing country. If we talk about China, $58 billion deficit. This was at $11 billion. Now, in 17-18, just within one decade, it has crossed $76 billion. Means majorly it is a huge deficit for India. And now if we bring these tariffs to zero, then it will be devastating for sure. Because already it is a huge deficit where tariffs are not zero. And RCEP talks about bringing tariffs to zero in next 15 years. So that will be problematic. Australia, a large exporting country in wheat and sugar issue. These two are very political issues in India. Every time when we bring these import duties down for wheat, then the wheat farmers of India, they come on roads because they cannot survive. And the Ganna Kisan issue, the sugar industry issues, they are evergreen issues for Indian politics. So that's why Australia is very capable in those areas. It's a net exporting country and it wants to get the Indian market access there. But we cannot allow that and we give sugar subsidies there. Australia went to WTO. That WTO, all are WTO members, and it is totally a obstruction by India that it is giving subsidy to its industries there. That's totally unwanted and against the rules of WTO. So India has to end that, but we cannot do that, and that's the main problem in WTO for us. Agrarian commodities are the biggest problem, biggest hurdle in the WTO issues because we want support. And these countries, these are exporting countries in dairy sector. New Zealand is the exporting country. Australia in the wheat and sugar category, they are exporting country. So they want Indian market there. But Indian market cannot allow that. And the tariffs are there. They want zero tariffs. We want to raise tariffs there if we want to save the domestic sector there. So Australia went to WTO. China, Indonesia, Thailand, they also joined Australia there against India. So they are not trying to put pressure there against India, that India opens its market and it brings tariffs to zero there so that we can sell our products there very easily. But that will be devastating there. Other examples of New Zealand's dairy industry, these are given here. And here some issues are also there. The growth numbers that were used to show India as the fastest growing economy have now been replaced by significantly lower growth expectations. That's happening for many quarters now. We are declining with the GDP progress, and it is by all the important bodies, whether we talk about the World Bank, IMF or anything else. Then in this time, aggressive opening of the economy, bringing tariffs to zero, will only add to uncertainties faced by domestic entities, and it will be catastrophic. Tariff issue, as I told you, in 2015 also we tried liberalization, tariff liberalization. We tried to bring down the tariff there. So we said to ASEAN that 80% imports will be tariff free. To China, 42.5% will be tariff free. But why we came to this negotiating position? No reason was cited, and these issues were not in public domain. So that was all secretive. Government knew about all the problems of the domestic industries and agrarian crisis there, but still they went ahead with that. But it met with a lot of protest, and they again had to raise the tariffs in the manufactured products from 11% to 14%, in agricultural products from 33 to 39%. So already many protests were there, and now this time it has become hugely political. If you remember the tweet by Prime Minister Modi ji, 2 days back, he said that the very positive day, very great day turned into a very sad day. Why? Because we wanted to join that. We wanted to join that trade regionalism issue, the RCEP there, and we have been talking about it for the last 7 years. Now we are storming out of it due to all those pressures, because these are the unfortunate conditions. So that's the issue. Now, writer said that the government must focus on mechanisms through which India can create globally competitive sectors that can demand market access in India's partner countries. Means we have to come to that level where we can compete, we can export our cheap products, because today India is not even able to meet the domestic demand of cheap products. Our domestic products are very expensive. Like the sugar is the example, like the milk is the example. And as I told you, New Zealand can sell 19 rupees per liter milk. They can sell 150 rupees SMP product, where it is there for 300 rupees in India. So that's the difference. Means first we need to bring efficient and cheap products, then we will fulfill our demands, then we will export them, and the price should be very low so that we can send them to other countries and we can replace their own domestic commodities. That is something we need there. So that's why we are way behind today, and we have to work a lot. So that's the issue. So you can write a mains question there, that link up the storming out of India from RCEP and India's long track of lack of competitiveness in the agrarian sector, in the MSME sector, and why we cannot afford these tariffs to be at zero. So this question UPSC certainly can ask you. Next issue is the vaccine hesitancy issue, important for GS paper 2 and 3. We have eliminated very dangerous diseases like smallpox, polio from India. Other are also there. This was all possible because of the vaccine there. Major problems, major diseases. We are trying to find vaccines there. So it's a life-saving phenomena. When it was introduced in 20th century, then it was a kind of a boon for human civilization there. Why? Because many major killers were there, but today we are safe from them because of the vaccines, and especially these kids. Means polio was a huge menace in India. In every street you would find at least one kid there walking in a paralyzed manner because of the polio. But today it is not the condition because of our awareness there and these repeated vaccination there. So this was the issue. Now some vaccine hesitation is rising, like the case was there with the polio. Some cases we found recently that polio happened because of the vaccine there, because the inactivated virus which was there in the vaccine, that caused some disease, but those cases were very less. But because of that, you cannot say that vaccination is dangerous, because it is saving lives. A shocking example came from Europe, where 4.5 lakh kids, they are measles affected. Why? Because the vaccine was available, but people were hesitant to vaccinate their kids. So this was something unbelievable. So it is the issue of trust on vaccination. South Asia is the biggest trusting region. 95% people trust in vaccines. 92% in East Africa, they trust vaccines. But Europe, from where the measles case came this year, their trust for vaccination is just 59% and 52%. Means only half of the people, they believe in vaccination. And in the same region, 4.5 lakh cases of measles. And measles is a kind of a dangerous disease which is totally preventable from the vaccine, but they did not go for it. So that's the problem. So we have to talk on facts. Vaccines are preventing 2 to 3 million deaths per year, and these numbers may rise up to 4.5 million savings of the deaths. Okay, so that's a major life savior there, but we are ignoring them. And the measles data is of October 19. This is shocking. Here you can see in 2018 in the whole world 1.73 lakh cases were there, but now on October WHO confirmed that 4.24 lakh kids are measles affected. Why? Because of the vaccine hesitancy there. Now many wrong communications and false messages and some orthodoxy and some other miscampaigns were there. Like the Pakistan's example was prime, where all these terror groups, they were spreading that vaccines are making our kids infertile, and this is a strategy, it's a whole game plan to destroy our races there. So if we have to see the Indian perspective there, then there are some problems, and mainly from the less educated, less aware communities. You can see there in the UP state, poor Muslim communities, there was a fear among them, and that was totally a misconception, that the polio vaccine caused illness. As for starting 2-3 days, the vaccine that affects the body, and some fever is there because the immunity getting developed there, so that is necessary. But they think that it was illness and it can cause infertility in kids, and in the future they will be infertile, and this is totally ineffective. So that was a misconception, and some wrong messages were spread on social media against that. So it was a total belief that vaccination is dangerous, and it's a kind of a plan against our communities. So that's the issue. And they said that in 2016 also, that some microbes, chemicals, animal derived products, they are forbidden by Islamic law, so we cannot allow that. So these are serious problems. And what are the issues with the vaccine related diseases? That if even a single case is found, then it can be devastating. Other parts of the population, they may get affected. When we found a single case of polio there, then for next 3 years we had to run many polio drives, these vaccination drives there. So these are the issues. So that's why the communities remain vulnerable even a single case is found. And here the issue of wrong messaging and something against their communities. So this can be really catastrophic. And where these vaccines are saving lives, those misconceptions, they can destroy the whole agenda there. And the December 18 study points out vaccine hesitancy continues to be a huge menace for India. Okay, so these wrong fears are very much spread from social media today. Now the case of Jaggi Vasudev, the Sadguru, who is a very famous personality today, you can see him everywhere, even in the ISRO meeting there. So he spread a message there. He said that the vaccines are good, but the overdose is really dangerous, and there are many side effects or negative impacts of over vaccination. So people should not go over for that. But these dangerous sweeping statements, maybe he was talking very casually, but these are dangerous sweeping statements, and they affect people's mind, and not only the uneducated and unaware people. The followers are the well-educated people for Sadhguru, because some things are really good psychologically, they are very much sensible, but some things are egoistic and self-claimed. He himself said that I'm not a medical expert, but still he talks about this very sensitive issue, and this all issue went unheeded, and he even posted an important telephonic conversation between him and the Dr. Soumya Swaminathan, chief scientist at WHO, and they were talking about the vaccination issue. The doctor said that it has prevented many deaths of kids in India, but there can be some side effects there. Means in between the talks, this whole issue of side effects and misconceptions that started in the conversation, and that conversation is there on the Isha Foundation's website there. So it can affect many people's psychology against vaccination, and that's a very sensitive issue of flu. Means normal cold is different from the flu cases. Swine flu is a major killer in India. This year there are more than 1200 deaths till November 3. So it's a major killer there. So if you do not get vaccines every year against flu, especially for the kids under 5, then it can be catastrophic. We all know about that. What happened in 2009, we all know about that. what kind of menace these flu issues can create these days. This is well known there. CDC in America, the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, that says that these kind of comments, we do not know about that, but the vaccination is necessary for flu. It is different from the cold. Okay, and WHO too recognizes the same issue there for under 5 kids. So that's why we have to remove all these misconceptions there and these kind of dangerous confusions about the vaccination and the vaccine hesitancy boosters. We need to remove them and we have to save our kids there. A study in 17 that looked at flu seasons between 2010 to 14 found that vaccination reduced flu associated deaths by 65% among healthy kids. So these are the realities and we have to take care about these issues. Otherwise the whole health agenda, especially for a country like India, that can fail very, very soon. So that's the issue. Next article talks about a very simplistic issue to understand, but it's a huge menace, biggest worry of the future, and it talks about the coastal communities. Recently a report came and it talked about China, India coastal communities, that they are very much vulnerable. Earlier NASA's SRTM data said that 5 million people in India, they are vulnerable, but actual data now comes. They said that some accuracy issues were there, some buildings blocked some issues. So now they say these numbers may go up to 36 million people, means more than 35 lakh people can be devastated because of the coastal flooding there. Bangladesh, like a small country, 42 million people will be threatened, and by 2050 the cities like Kolkata, Mumbai, they can be totally submerged. You can see economic capital of India, Mumbai, and the another metropolis, Kolkata, there they can be totally submerged. Other important cities from the world, Alexandria, Egypt, Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam, Basra, Iraq, Shanghai, they can be flooded totally, they can be submerged. So that's the issue. And you see, we are going backwards actually. America is opting out of that Paris climate change. It had announced that 2 years back. Now the process is started for the withdrawal. So we are just going backwards there. We not even caring about the future communities, and totally these efforts are missing. They are just talking about these issues on every platform. Now the whole climate change issue and the whole debate is shifted towards terrorism issue everywhere. So seriously, there are no practical works going on against the climate change phenomena. 2 degrees centigrade, they all are just sitting content with that plan. But how this thing will be possible? Because whatever is going on in this world, in all the countries, especially in the developed and developing both countries, surely the temperature will rise more than 3-4 degree centigrade on an average, and that will be totally devastating. So that's the reality, and many experts are saying that we may have only 1 or 2 decades left to take any action. Otherwise everything will be losing from our hands. So that's the reality, and that's why you can make important points there. It's a very crucial issue. The examples are very vital there. So that's the lesson. We will meet again in the evening. Thanks a lot. Keep watching. It is Amit.